In this demonstration, we're going to cover the different views that Microsoft Word has. So let's open up a sample document here, and you'll see down at the very bottom there's 5 different views. If you hover your mouse over these views, it will tell you what they are. So the first one is Print Layout View, Full Screen Reading View, Web Layout View, Outline View, and Draft View. So we'll go through each one of these, and I'll explain what each one of these views can be used for. So by default, Microsoft Word will open up in the Print Layout View, and for your purposes this may be the only view that you've used in the past and the only one you're familiar with. And the intent of this view is to show you what the document is going to look like when it's printed out. So that's why when you look at the document here, you can see where the margins are. You can kind of see what what's going to show on the paper here, and you'll be able to do all your formatting within this view. Now that's opposed to something like the draft view over here, which tries to remove all the extra stuff just so you can focus on the content of your paper. So when we click on that, you don't see the paper sizes, any of the margins, everything kind of disappears on you, and you just focus on the content. So even if you put a picture into your document within the draft view, you're not even going to be able to see that picture. So let's go back to our print layout view here, and let's put in a picture. So this document here lists some computer science courses and some business courses. So let's put in a picture of a computer. We'll put in some clip art, search for computer, and put in this picture here. So you'll notice when we go to the draft view, the pictures don't show anymore. That's because you're supposed to be focusing on the content of your paper, not so much the formatting and images that are on your document. So that is the draft view. Other views, there is the full screen reading view. If we click on that, it's going to go full screen, so it's going to hide all the different menus at the top, and this document now you can't edit. It's basically just for reading. You don't have an insertion point. You can't go in. I'm trying right now to do some typing, and you can't modify the document. So this is for reading your document, and you're going to get maximized screen space to be able to do that. And you'll also notice that the text has been enlarged slightly, so you can see things a little bit better, and you can scroll through the paper up at the top here, go through the different pages at the top of the screen here. To get out of this view, because we don't see the icons at the bottom anymore, we have to go to the top right and hit the close, and it's going to go back to the previous view that you were just in. The fourth view is called the web layout view. If we click on this view, it's going to kind of look like the draft view, but really the intent of this view here is it's going to show you what your document is going to look like if you save it as a web page. So you'll notice when you scroll down here, you don't see any page breaks. That's because on web pages there are no page breaks. So this is going to basically show what the web page is going to look like. And to save your document as a web page, you can go to the File Save As option, and under Save As Type, there is a web page option here. So if we want to save this as a web page, we can, and it's going to look like whatever it shows in the web layout view. The last view is the outline view, and this one here is a bit unique, and you may not have used this view before, but basically it allows you to assign different levels to the different paragraphs that you have in your document. Let's look at the document first. What I've done is in this document I have computer science courses, and underneath that heading I have a list of courses. I have 3 or 4 of them, and a description of that course. So I have 3 computer science courses, and then I have another heading here called business courses, and I think I have 2 listed here, 2 business courses that are offered at the university and their descriptions. Well, let's organize this a little bit. If we come up here to the very top, the computer science courses, let's highlight this, and we're going to assign it a level 1 heading. And you'll notice what's happened is it's changed the format of the text, and we can modify that later, and we will. But let's go down to the business courses, and let's also change that to a level 1. And then we'll go to each one of the courses, and we're going to assign those level 2. And you'll notice everything's being nested in what looks like bullets that you would have in a document. This isn't changing the formatting right now. You're basically structuring the document. Now you don't have to apply headings to each individual heading here. You can actually select them. Let's select multiple lines of text here. I'm holding on the control key so I can select multiple ones, and then we can assign the level 2 heading all at once without having to go to each individual one. So let's assign level 2 to all the course headings, and we'll zoom out a little bit. And now you can see the document is structured a little bit better. Now when you're in this view, you can actually shrink and expand different sections. So if I double click on the little plus sign beside Computer Science 1046, it will actually shrink that section, and we can do that to the other courses if we want. We can shrink an entire section here by double clicking on it, and we can expand whatever we'd like. So if you're working on extremely long documents, a thesis document that over 100 pages, it may be useful to work in this view, so you can shrink what you're not working on and only see the areas of interest. Now when we go back to our print layout view, you'll see that it's not nested anymore, but the formatting has changed, and that's because these paragraphs here have been assigned different heading levels. So when we click on computer science courses, and if you recall that we assign that heading number 1 level, you can see the style up here, up at the top here. It's been assigned that style. So we can change that if we want. If we want all level 1 headings to be red, for example, let's make some of this text red, and let's right click on that portion, and under styles we can say update heading 1 to match selection. And now you'll see we come down to business courses, which was level 1, and that was updated too. So let's change all the level 2 headings. Let's change that to a different color. Let's say we'll make that green, and we can update heading 2 to match selection, and now all the heading 2s have been changed. So as you can imagine, when you're working in a document of over 100 pages, this could be quite useful to do your formatting. So you don't have to go through each page and update it. You can update it globally by using the different headings. And also what the headings are good for is doing a table of contents, which we'll cover in just a little bit. But before we do a table of contents, there's another option here. We can actually have 2 screens at once. So by dragging down up the top right corner here, you can actually have 2 screens at once. You can see the document. Any changes you make in one screen will be made in the other one, but you can change them to different views now. So if you want to have the outline view at the bottom and you want to have your print layout view at the top, we can do that, and changes made in one will be made in the other. So let's change Computer Science 1046. Let's make that into Introduction to Computer Science Part 2, and if we come up to the top here in our print layout, you'll see that was changed too. So you're really looking at the documents, the same document, with looking at 2 different views. So let's shrink that. Let's get rid of that view. And going back to the different heading levels that we used, you need to define heading levels to be able to generate an automatic table of contents. Let's get rid of this picture here. And because we define the headings, we're going to create a new page. Let's go to the first page. And if we go to the references ribbon, there's a table of contents. So we click on that, and we're going to have a couple different options. There's the automatic table of contents, and you probably want to select those because Word is going to do more for you. Let's select the first one here, and it's going to generate a table of contents based on the headings, and it's organized everything nicely here for you, and even put in the text. You can format this if you want. Now, one thing to note is when you make changes to the headings, the content, the table of contents is not automatically going to be updated. You have to go and do that manually. So you can see on the table of contents we have Computer Science 1046, Introduction to Computer Science 2, and down here in the body we have the same thing, but if we update what's in the body, say we remove that 2 part of it and put it back to the way it was before, the table of contents hasn't been updated yet. To do that, we need to click Update Table, and it's going to ask us if we want to update just the page numbers or the entire table. In this case, we've updated more than just the page numbers, so we want to update the entire table. We hit OK, and it's been changed back to the original. So great feature in Microsoft Word. If you learn how to use the headings, and your table of contents will be a breeze to generate. You don't have to do any work. You can let Microsoft Word do all the work for you. So that is the end of this demonstration covering the different views in Microsoft Word and how to generate a table of contents.